Imagine shattering your knee on stage in front of thousands of fans. That's exactly what happened to one legendary rapper who, instead of stopping the show, kept spitting bars while literally unable to stand. But we'll get to that mind-blowing recovery later. From superstars falling into stage pits to artists getting booed by thousands, today we're diving into the most cringeworthy, career-defining disasters that rappers wish had never been caught on camera. When an artist steps on the stage, they aim to project the coolest version of themselves. It's all about showing supreme confidence and creating moments where the audience hangs on every word. The goal is to leave them wanting more, but sometimes things go spectacularly wrong. Live performances are the ultimate test for any artist. There's nowhere to hide, no second takes, and in today's world, every embarrassing moment gets immortalized online forever. That's why these stories aren't just entertaining. They reveal which artists have what it takes to recover from disaster and which ones crumble under pressure. So what happens when thousands of fans are completely uninterested in your performance? Or when you accidentally injure audience members? Or when you vomit mid-verse? Let's find out. Let's start with K.Y.L.Ray, who learned the hard way that winning over a hostile crowd isn't always possible. Before finding her niche, Kentucky Lay was often dismissed as just a TikTok artist, something she addressed directly in interviews. Everybody tried to call me a TikTok artist. I didn't care once I knew TikTok drove streams. I'm about my money and strategy. But all that confidence couldn't save her at Rolling Loud Miami in 2021. As she performed with full energy, the crowd stood motionless, literally like the mannequin challenge from years earlier. The live stream chat was brutal, with viewers calling it rolling quiet instead of rolling loud. The footage went viral for all the wrong reasons. K.Y.L.Ray tried to spin it positively on social media, writing, "I'm loved by so many people it blocks out the hate. There were over 100 artists who performed, and all people want to do is talk about me. I got good problems." When that approach didn't work, she doubled down. "I wouldn't be who I am if I wasn't me. There's only one of me, and the reason everything is the way it is because of me. It doesn't matter if they're talking bad or good, they're talking because of me." To her credit, Kentucky-Ray eventually established herself in the female hip-hop landscape and secured some hits. But that performance remains a painful chapter in her career journey. But what happens when you're already a superstar and embarrass yourself? Just ask Travis Scott, who gave hip-hop an eternal meme when he fell into a stage pit while performing with Drake, and continued to rap in autotune as he disappeared from view. The incident happened during Drake's Boy Meets World tour at London's O2 Arena. As Travis got hyped to perform Goosebumps, he clearly forgot to watch where he was going. But in typical Travis fashion, nothing stopped him from raging. With Drake's help, he soon emerged from what fans called the pit of hell. When later asked about the tumble, Travis refused to admit it was a simple accident. "I didn't fall, dude. I was flying. I was floating. Nothing happened." Floating is amazing. It's like getting in a plane. I'm a magician like David Blaine. I could never fall. The most surprising part? Drake announced the show would be refunded and gave money back to all 20,000 attendees. This is supposedly where the line, "turn the O2 into the O3" from God's plan originated, meaning Drake's fans at least went home happy that night. Speaking of Drake, he's had his own fair share of embarrassing moments. And I'm not talking about the time he forgot he used to play Wheelchair Jimmy on Degrassi and his legs just gave out on stage. Or that awkward moment when he flirted with a fan, only to discover she was 17, prompting him to say, "I can't go to jail yet, man." No, Drake's most painful public humiliation came when he was booed off stage at Tyler, the creator's Camp Flog Gnaw festival. As a surprise headliner at Dodger Stadium, Drake faced one major problem. The crowd had convinced themselves they would be seeing Frank Ocean instead. After trying to power through several songs to a clearly hostile audience, Drake finally asked, "If you want to keep going, I will keep going tonight." When the crowd responded with a resounding "No!" and boos, Drake simply said, "Well, it's been love. I love y'all. I go by the name of Drake. Thank you for having me," and left the stage. Tyler, the creator, was furious about the situation, saying he thought bringing one of the biggest artists on the planet was the right move. He admitted he was tone-deaf about the specific crowd, but blasted fans who created a narrative in their head and acted out like assholes when it didn't come true. In a later interview, Teller elaborated, "Everyone thought Frank was going to be there, but I never said he was. The only reason I was mad was because I told Aubrey, 'Come to this, everyone's going to welcome you with open arms.' It's like coming to my house and then my kids start peeing on your leg." Drake tried to play it cool on Instagram, joking, "Plot twist, just signed a 10-year residency at Camp Flog Gnaw. Sorry kids, see you every single year till you're 30. Frank Ocean even liked the post, showing solidarity. Later on Rap Radar, Drake admitted the rejection caught him off guard. "I was kind of sitting there going, you guys know Frank's not here, right? So it's like, you may as well get over that and let's rock, because I'm the replacement. I've got a couple joints if you want to hear them." But I already knew I was going to be the talk of Instagram for the next 2 days. But sometimes the crowd isn't hostile, they're just completely uninterested. This is something DJ Khaled has experienced firsthand, particularly when he performed at an EDM festival. Despite repeatedly trying to hype up the crowd with his signature catchphrases and calls for audience participation, the response was painfully muted. Rather than accept responsibility, Khaled blamed technical issues, posting on Instagram, "They tried to sabotage my sound. I still stood on stage with no sound, and when they got it to work, they wanted to cut my set short. They don't want us to win, so we win more. It's all love though, I forgive them." Unsurprisingly, no one bought this explanation, especially when he received a similarly flat response at the Social Gloves boxing event in Miami. The footage of Khaled desperately trying to engage a completely disinterested crowd became instant meme material. But sometimes the problem isn't a disinterested audience, it's accidentally injuring them. Just ask Miguel, who was riding high with his debut album when he performed at the Billboard Music Awards. During his rendition of Adore, Miguel attempted to leap from one side of the stage to the other. What happened next looked like something straight out of WWE. Miguel essentially delivered what commentators called a well-timed strategic Hulk Hogan leg drop onto an unsuspecting female fan's head. As one comedian put it, Miguel's black and Mexican, so what he did on that stage was release his inner Mexican wrestler. He did it in rehearsals with a sweatsuit and Jordans, but when he was on stage, he forgot he was in a tight suit and high-heeled wedges. In the aftermath, Miguel was constantly questioned about the incident. He insisted he did everything right. "Day one, I was mortified because I'm still human. My natural inclination is to ask, 'Are you okay?' But the professional part is you have to finish the show. Had I stopped, it would have been even worse on national television." Miguel later brought the victim, Kiati, on stage to show they were on good terms. But 2 years later, another woman who was hit during the jump sued Miguel and MGM Grand for negligence, seeking compensation for medical bills and lost wages. While Miguel's incident caused physical pain, some performances hurt an artist's credibility instead. Take Smoke Perp, once considered a rising star in the mumble rap movement. Initially affiliated with Travis Scott's Cactus Jack label, his reputation collapsed after a series of terrible performances. The downward spiral began with a Boston show where he allegedly left early after only 15 people showed up. A photographer reported, 3 to 4 songs go by and he's not doing anything. He's walking around looking at the audience. Then I realized these aren't even his songs. He's playing music from Tessis Sextentacion, Lil Peep, and Juice WRL. Then as I'm about to take a photo with him in the crowd, he drops the mic and walks away. Fans were understandably furious. Straight up, show up for your fans. The ones who waited and came here trying to give you money were trying to help you eat. Shortly after, Smoke Perp was booked to perform at a Dave & Buster's, and the footage of him rapping to an almost completely empty arcade became legendary in hip-hop circles. His reputation never recovered, but some artists managed to bounce back from embarrassment. Rod Wave, now among the biggest concert draws in rap, consistently packs arenas at a rate that outshines many more famous artists. But before his success, Rod, who isn't exactly the skinniest rapper, went viral for breaking a stage by stepping on it. After the incident forced him to cancel the show, Rod kept it lighthearted, posting, "Pimp down, I repeat, pimp down." Initially, he wasn't convinced it was his fault, suggesting sabotage in an interview before reconsidering how many people he had brought on stage. We was a little deep though, I ain't gonna lie, so it could have been our fault. When something goes wrong on stage, the best approach is to shake it off and keep going. Designer did exactly that after throwing up mid-performance at the peak of his fame. Riding high off Panda and his Kanye West cosign, Designer was known for bringing non-stop energy to his shows. On one occasion, he gave a little too much, throwing up mid-performance without even pausing to catch his breath. After facing accusations of drug abuse, Designer explained it was just a shot of Henny that went wrong, combined with exhaustion from touring. That's when you get no sleep and you book probably 4 times a night. I was just on the road stupid every night with no sleep. I had a little shot of Henny, threw that back, went up there, let that go, and I'm like, all right, hopefully everybody forgets about this. Let's keep it going. Similar dedication was shown by Slim Jimmy of Ray Shremmerd. During a performance at Governor's Ball in New York, the self-styled Turn-Up King took partying too far, falling off a speaker and suffering a nasty leg gash. While medical staff assessed him, his brother Sway Lee had to kill time on stage. Sway described his brother as world star level fucked up, but Jimmy eventually clarified he was all right. I'm not dead. Despite the injury, he finished the show like a champion, only heading to the emergency room afterward. Some artists seem drawn to repeated mishaps. Take Tekashi 6ix9ine, who has a particularly bad track record with crowd surfing. During his initial run, energy was everything for 6ix9ine, with his high-octane tracks and shouted vocals creating wild shows on his own tours. But this energy didn't always translate outside his bubble, as he learned at a Fetty Wap show when he attempted to crowd surf. As seen in the footage, his back took the full impact as the crowd parted beneath him. He later explained, "I went to jump, but I'm so hype on stage, I'm not looking at the crowd. Everyone's telling me that I jumped into a group of 10 frail girls. I did a spin so I wouldn't hit anybody with my knees. In midair, I see all the girls just move." Remarkably, this didn't stop him from trying again the very next day at a Marshmello show, with similarly disastrous results. The next day, I was at Marshmello's show. Every time I get dropped is when I'm at somebody else's show, not my show. So I jumped at Marshmello's show, hit the pavement again, but I took a girl with me. But the most impressive recovery from an onstage disaster belongs to Bay Area legend Richie Rich. During a performance with rising star All Black, Richie was getting into their track, What We Doing, when disaster struck. His 56-year-old body didn't cooperate, and he shattered his knee on stage. Amazingly, the Oakland icon wasn't deterred. He immediately continued spitting his verse like nothing happened, before eventually freestyling new lyrics acknowledging his injury. "Game down like a mother asterisk, blew my knee out. Do you see that? Still flowing though, and I can't stand up. In the hood, they call a dude man up." This turned a potentially embarrassing situation into something legendary. In the aftermath, Richie Rich received nothing but admiration from fans and fellow artists. As one commenter put it, "It's a lot of rappers, but that's an MC. Didn't lose the flow, kept the crowd going, diagnosed himself, kicked a freestyle, and made some jokes after." Salute to Richie Rich for showing younger artists how to turn a bad situation into gold. What these stories show us is that in live performance, it's not the mistakes that define an artist. It's how they handle them. The ones who can shake off embarrassment, keep performing through injury, or address a hostile crowd with grace are the ones who demonstrate true professionalism. From KY Laray's empty crowd to Travis Scott's auto-tune fall, from Miguel's accidental wrestling move to Richie Rich's incredible recovery, these moments have become part of hip-hop history. They remind us that behind the carefully curated social media images and polished music videos, artists are human capable of embarrassment, mistakes, and sometimes extraordinary resilience. What other embarrassing performance moments do you think should have made this list? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of rap's most cringe-worthy stage moments, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into hip-hop history